Good morning, everybody, and a happy Wednesday morning to you. As usual, we're starting off with the real working Royals, and then we're working our way over into the Invictus debacle. There's always something happening. So, of course, as days, each day goes by, we've got a little bit more to report. So let's just jump in and cover what we have, shall we? Let's go. And I'm going to start with these hair clips that were just sent to me. One was silver, one was gold, and one was black. I just want to say they work really, really well, and they're very decorative, and you can find them on Amazon. I think they were like $5, seriously. All right, let's get into our royal stuff. All right, this was really cool. King Charles was with the head of government, Keir Starmer, and his deputy head of government, Angela Rayner. He was showing them Nansledden, which is a sustainable community in North Cornwall, England. The name, by the way, comes from the Cornish language and means broad valley. This is really cool because the community is designed to meet all the needs of the residents locally. And the Duchy of Cornwall has a master plan and code for residents and house builders. And the entire model village was created and designed by King Charles. Let me give you some information about this place. The houses are in terraces and crescents that they say it looks more like the 30s. There's real corner shops. Each house has a little individual design, so there's no cookie cutter homes. They're made with materials that you usually don't find in new builds. There's stone, there's slate from Cornish quarries. The mortar is made of lime, not cement, wooden windows. Really cool. Now, of course, as soon as they arrived, there were lots of children there outside ready to greet them. Now, the reason there were so many kids is because there was already a elementary school open there, a primary school. All the materials were sourced nearby. Designs for the homes were based on traditional local house types. There are shops and transport hubs within a 10-minute walk of all the homes, and the live-work units encourage the people that live there to create small businesses so they don't have to commute. Now, besides walking around, they met staff and volunteers in the community kitchen where skills development and employability support is provided. The king took them on a tour, which included the orchard. Now, the orchard is a community garden. They have classes which include vocational learning, adult education, well-being sessions, even art sessions. You should also know that the orchard produced 6.8 tons of food for the community in 2024, including 3,329 bags of vegetables for customers and 156 bags for patients that have diabetes. The area employs 45 skilled staff and operates multiple facilities, including a market garden, maker space, and community building with cafe and a co-working space. It's being reported last year 42 young people participated in the Growing Future Education Program and 59 adults completed courses in green skills. The orchard itself received the Green Flag Award for the 4th consecutive year, recognizing its excellence as a green space. I love that. Now, the school, which, by the way, King Charles opened in 2020, currently has 361 students across 14 classrooms. They can hold up to 420 students. So this delegation observed a PE session in the sports hall, and they joined 5- and 6-year-olds in their classrooms. And their stuff is all about sustainability and discovery and experiments. I love it. All right, let's move on. Let's move on now to Harry and Meghan stuff. I showed you guys the other day, and I had it up on X, that Harry and Meghan were in a golf cart driving past disabled veterans. And, Meghan's rubbing all over Harry, rubbing his arm, rubbing his shoulder. She couldn't keep her hands off of him. And it caused a lot of people to be really upset. They're saying that it was desperate to drive past veterans, some who were wheelchair bound. I mean, it was very obvious they were being taped by the cart behind them with people being encouraged to yell out for them for the camera. What is that all about? And they say that Megan is just there to uplift her husband. It's just to underscore her support for her husband. Personally, I think it's because she likes the expensive clothing that's being paid for by Invictus. And FYI, how many times have I told you they're looking at our stuff on Twitter and then coming up with this article because there's my comment and it was my clip. You should know that Meghan Markle did break her silence days after everybody got so upset by pushing another event they were at. We're going to cover that a little later in this video. So let's keep going. Now, really quickly, I want to point this out. Meghan is dressing like Diana again. Okay, let's keep going. I should let you guys know that that golf cart thing was not the only video that upset people. Nelly Furtado, no, I'm not going to lie. I've never heard of her. I have no clue who she is. I don't know any of her music, but she put out that video where she's cozying up to Meghan Markle with Harry nonchalantly walking past in the background and they're blowing kisses. And, Furtado wrote, they're beautiful, that's for sure. But people did not like what she did. They said the interaction was cringe and they're unfollowing her because she associates with Harry and Meghan. People pointed out that this is the woman who wanted a normal life. And they're saying, big mistake having these two with you. Thought you had dignity and class. Like it really did not go over well. So what is Nelly Furtado or whatever her name is going to do? Who knows? Who cares? I've never heard of her before and I'll probably never hear of her again. I hate to say it, but it's true. Moving on. So as I've told you guys before, mainstream media is not covering anything that's going on at Invictus except what Meghan Markle is wearing and what's going on. So they're going, Meghan Markle has mastered the art of laid-back luxury as shown during a series of appearances. Get it? And while attending the wheelchair basketball event on Sunday, she stepped out in a pair of Veronica Beard skinny flare jeans, teamed with a navy jumper from Laline and heeled boot by Stuart Weitzman. Ladies and gentlemen, the merching is on full speed ahead. Now, in case you guys haven't figured it out, these people, how do they know what she's wearing? How do they know the name of it? How do they know where to find it? It's very simple. Meghan is telling them. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. I'm pretty sure she gets a cut for helping them merch the product. Now, I have to tell you some very weird, in my opinion, desperate things happened during this particular event. Let me explain. First of all, I want you to pay real attention. Here's Harry and Meghan walking in. Everybody else is in their seats. And you see the guy in the front there with the camera. They're taping everything. Now, that's very important to note. And I'm going to cover that in just a second. You're not going to believe what I'm about to cover with you. So they're sitting down and they found their seats and you see everybody standing and there's the video camera. They're being taped. So the event they were at was the wheelchair basketball finals and a wheelchair curling match. Which we're going to cover in just a second. But here's the wheelchair finals, all right? So they're sitting down and they're taking pictures with people, selfies, and they're hamming it up. Meghan, by the way, is wearing some very expensive clothing, as I just said. So at some point, they put Harry on the camera and he decides that he's going to make a bunch of faces at the camera because he's so funny. Oh, yes, we're on the Jumbotron again. So anyway, here it is. He looks up. They put a moose up there next to him. I don't know how they do that, but okay, yeah. Is he a moose? I would say so. All right, so moving on. You can see Harry is sitting there talking to this guy next to him. Now, here's what I really want you to see. Do you see the camera? You see the camera? I've even slowed it down for you with the microphone towards them. Here's why that was there. A conversation took place that, in my opinion, was one of the most desperate things I think Harry could have pulled. It was a stunt. So here's what was said. You either shut it down straight away, which is something I would never do, or you engage in the conversation and you try to explain things, but then it does. I mean, Archie was talking about this earlier. Archie was asking about landmines and was talking about how some of these guys were blown up. I think IEDs, improvised explosive devices, it's probably a bit too much, but I found myself talking to him about mines, 5 years old, and it interestingly gave me a chance to talk about my mum. His grandmother, which I didn't even consider. So that became the outcome of the story for him, is that he saw videos. He wanted videos and photographs of his grandma Diana doing her thing with the landmines all those years ago. It produced a very interesting conversation between me and him, different from what I thought it was going to be. So the man with the camera just happens to be there, just happens to have this conversation where, of course, we hear about the children and Princess Diana, Grammy Diana. Meghan, for once, doesn't interrupt him, doesn't touch him, and leaves him alone during this. This was such a setup, and I have to say, this just came off to me as completely pathetic. Again, this was supposed to be about the veterans. It was supposed to be about the wheelchair basketball, but no, it was all about Grammy, Diana, and Archie. Now remember, they were doing all of that talking for ITV, and they just had to come out and issue an official statement because there's been an issue with them covering the Invictus games. They're supposed to be doing 9 daily highlights. Unfortunately, their coverage was limited of what they could show, they're claiming, due to coordination with the production team of the games and different local time zones. So the next thing that happened was Meghan and Harry went to, I believe it's called curling, where you push these, it's like chess on ice is what it is, and you push these big things along the ice. So they get there, Harry in the back, of course, during the pictures, and they sit down and she's reacting during the game. Ooh, it's so exciting. A couple things I would like to point out. First of all, she still is not wearing Invictus gear, but in a picture in a few minutes, you will see that Harry is wearing Invictus gear. Now, as they're sitting there, this guy runs up and sits down in between Meghan and Harry. Meghan looks over at the children next to her. She tries to act like she's so maternal. The kids want nothing to do with her, but I have no clue who this man is or why he's sitting next to her. What we do find out is that her jacket is over 3,000 pounds or $3,600. Everybody else is wearing Invictus gear. Notice Harry and Meghan do not look happy here. The mask is slipping. 3 days of trying to do Loved Up, I think, is taking its toll on them. But at some point, they manage to pull it back together, I say, because Harry keeps this scowl on his face the whole time. Now, at some point, Meghan leans over and puts her hand on his knee. But just like we saw with the parent network, he's leaning away from her. She's touching him and he's leaning as far away from her as he can get. I'm sorry, you just can't fake that kind of behavior. I mean, at some point, she just stopped looking at him. She turned her back and she started paying attention to the people behind her. Now, the next interesting thing happened. As they were leaving, Harry saw a dog. So Harry goes over to pet the dog and talk to the handler. And of course, if he's there, here comes Meghan because she can't let him have anything. She leans over, tries to, engage in conversation, whatever. Then she stands up, turns around and starts talking to somebody else. Well, we all know what happens when Meghan Markle is ready to go, right? We've seen how she handles Harry. She touches him on the back and starts directing him. And that's exactly what happens here. She's like, Harry, I'm ready to go. Harry goes. They're trying so hard to let us know that they have an equal, equitable relationship. And yet with everything they do, it pretty much shows that there's nothing even in this relationship. So now Meghan is sitting there on her phone, taking pictures and putting stuff up on her new Instagram account. And so they're saying that she's in full influencer mode. Sorry, I don't believe that for a second. This woman sitting there in her almost $4,000 jacket in her second outfit of the day, as far as I can tell, it's her second outfit of the day, taking pictures and acting like she's somebody so special. It's just like she did at the, when Katy Perry and them were singing. She's running around with her phone taking pictures. I'm not impressed, at all. Now, when they leave this event, Megan changes into her fourth outfit of the day, and she goes with Harry to Squamish Valley. They're in a town north of Vancouver in British Columbia, and they go into this, I don't know, they're in this area with people in a traditional Indigenous outfits. They're dancing around them. As a matter of fact, the two of them in the middle are beating drums and doing music. And then Megan writes, "Thank you for welcoming us onto your sacred land." Now, here's one of the things. Megan is not taping this on her Instagram. She can't be, because as you see, she's in the middle there. Just like she didn't tape herself on the golf cart. Just like she has somebody else running her Instagram account, you guys. It may be her account in name, but she's not responsible for anything that's being put up on it. It's all production, level stuff that's being done. And I'm trying to figure out what any of this has to do with Invictus. I haven't figured that out yet. All right, you guys, you know what to do. Hit the like and the subscribe and the bell for all notifications. Don't forget to go down into the description box where you'll find the link to my Twitter, my Gettr, my Rumble, my email, my physical address, my Amazon wish list. And for those of you who've donated to my coffee fund, thank you so much. And as always, you guys, have a great day.